Hi guys, how we doing? Welcome to today's video here on Buzzing Fair. Joining me as always is Martin from Corsley. How you doing, my man?
Nice to meet you, mate. How you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
Merry Christmas.
Oh, we're getting there, aren't we? Oh, there's another Christmas.
By the time the video
Another
comes
Christmas.
out.
Anyway, you might see this lump here that he's desperately trying me to get in. He was placing it over there to get it, but fair play to you. Tell me, Mez, so you got the Nestopper Thailand Digital Property Awards 2021 winner for the Agency Award Best Pattaya Real Estate Customer Experience. There you go, guys. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So what's that about then?
It's nice just to be recognised. I mean, to have the reputation of being honest, straightforward, a real estate agent that's slightly different. You know, we talk a lot to clients, you know, listen, understand, don't push things and, you know, have an opinion about whether people are looking to invest, to buy something long term. They approached and said that, you know, your name's come up a lot, and obviously with Trustpilot, stuff like that. You know, we're looking at nominating you, and then it went to a public vote, and there we go.
Congratulations, Nick. Congratulations.
So much.
So, the property world right now is under a bit of a hot torch, a blowtorch. What's going? Because as you know, I spoke to Mark the other day about some changes, and I know those changes have now come to you as well.
Yeah, I noticed he name dropped me.
Well, that's because you are, like, you know, without taking the mickey out, you know, you do a very good service. I've used you personally myself as well. You know, they've been very, very good. So, guys, watch this. Now, you might be someone that's coming out here long term. You might be someone that's coming out to buy. You might be someone coming out to live. You might buy to rent. This video is important, guys, because there are a lot of things that are possibly going to be implicating how you deal with this. But I'm not going to talk. I'm going to let Martin talk away. Dangerous thing to say to Martin because he does like his chat. But he's going to explain to you everything that's going on. So let's go over what's changed or changing. What is going on?
So, I mean, the point of this is to sort of piggyback or to carry on from a conversation that you had with Mark. I think it was issued last, or would you call it, launched last weekend.
Yeah.
So at the minute, it's more on the tenant side that when tenants are trying to get their new visas, they need to produce paperwork from the landlord to support the visa application. This has been quite a shock to ourselves. I mean, even one of the very, very big leading lawyers here called me and said, like, what's going on? And then understood that it was more for the tenancy for visas rather than for law. However, that then spawned into ourselves, two of the largest law firms here, and even one in Bangkok, having long conversations. The crux of it is that when a tenant is looking to rent, because we've had a few people in here, I'm looking to rent, but I don't want to rent from a Thai. Basically, they've understood some of the conversation that's going on right now, and it's to do with foreigners that own property here as a landlord need to produce a tax ID number.
Okay.
So there are three simple things. Obviously, a landlord being Thai, their tax ID number is on their ID card.
Yes.
A foreigner that owns a foreign name condo, for example, just simply goes to immigration, gets a residency certificate to show his address, and then walks across the road from immigration on Secca Road to the revenue department and requests a tax ID number.
Okay.
Or if there's a property that's owned under Thai company, then the Thai company already has a tax ID number. So that's kind of potentially in the future something that may be leading to taxation.
So if someone's coming over here now and they want to stay long term, let's say 6 months or 12 months, whatever, when they go to that kind of, the owner, if he's a foreigner, has to give them a tax ID.
We're still in early stages.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, the jokes with like the alcohol license, and stuff like this. You know, I mean, we're kind of reacting, preparing, and making sure that, you know, we are as up to date as possible.
Sure.
Again, likewise for Mark, you know, I mean, I sympathize with you, Mark. You've got to change your tact and your, you know, your knowledge every week. It doesn't come around that often necessarily in the property market. But you know, we're taking it as a learning curve right now and adapting with, thankfully, the backing of people like Mark, a couple of really good lawyers here, to just make sure that, you know, when we're looking at renting now, we are collecting all the necessary documents to make sure that, you know, Mark is supported with everything. But also like a small clause in there to say that, you know, if during a contract, the landlord can't come up with the paperwork for this, then there's a clause in there already to say, okay, well, the tenant needs it to support it. So at that point, it's been agreed, because before you sign the contract, to say that if that does come, then, the tenant can leave that property and seek alternative accommodation without any penalty, breaking contracts. So it's just tweaking small things, to protect our tenants.
So that will affect people that are already in a condo at the moment, won't it?
If they're in a condo already, it comes to the point of when they need the visa.
Yeah.
And again, this could all change by tomorrow. By the time you release this video,
I know. Yeah,
it could have all been scrapped.
Yeah.
But for the future, or for the moment, we are now adapting our contracts to certainly have a clause to say that it's understanding that a foreigner that's renting this condo, and even you say, okay, well, I'll put it in, my Thai wife's name. At some point, you're still going to need a visa. So you're still going to need to be named on the rental contract. So again, that means that all this paperwork is likely to be asked for. I'm not sure whether like marriage visas or retirement, which ones need which kind of documentation. But we're changing the security for the tenant from here on in to say that if they require documents that are part of the immigration process that the landlord can't provide, I'm not going to go and get a tax ID number, Martin. Okay, well, as per clause XYZ, that is not the fault of the tenant. That is your choice to not provide it, or you're unable to provide it. So that allows the tenant to break the lease with 30 days notice and receive their deposit back and look for another property.
Because quite a few of the owners don't actually live in the country.
No, and again, we're learning on the job, so to speak. I wouldn't like to say, 100% definitive, I know all the answers, because I'm not that naive. And, it's anyone.
There's a lot of experts out there.
Yeah.
They'll all be telling you how to do it.
For sure. I mean, let's say we've had a few popping in and then, just sort of saying half of the story, which is granted. And, they've actually walked out of here, shaking my hand and like, wow, I didn't actually sort of see the bigger picture. There's potential that maybe, taxation is coming along the line for foreigners renting property. But it's also something, they're not picking on foreigners, by the way. Again, when I mentioned, the tax ID, it's on a Thailand ladies or Thailand lords ID card.
Yeah.
That is still potentially going to be the thing for Thai people as well as foreigners, So this isn't a target at foreign landlords. This is potentially the revenue department or somebody, making this push to say that, we're now looking at rental investments and rental income and the taxation based on it.
So I'm guessing then, let's just say that this pushes through. Let's just say it does become a taxable issue for the owner. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing the knock-on effect there is that the price of rents will go up to compensate for the tax they're going to pay.
Quite possibly. The rent. So one thing that's on our website, maybe you can include it as a link, is I have written an article based on rental tax income. It's a sliding scale of the total income earned with what I'm trying to say. So the rental income over 12 months equals an amount, less 30% to deduct for things like repairs, maintenance fees, things like that. 70% of the total, let's say it's 20,000 baht.
Yeah.
So that's 240 over a year. Take off 30%, that's 180,000 baht income.
Yeah.
That amount has a category of how many percent that can be charged at. Anything under 150 doesn't get charged at all.
Oh, really?
0. And then from 150 to 300 is 5%. And from 300 up to 500,000 or 600,000 is 10%.
So 600,000 profit in the year, 10%.
10%. However,
it's still not bad.
However, other things that we've been doing, the majority of our average rentals are probably around about 25,000 baht. So they fall underneath the 300,000 threshold. So you're looking at 5%. We are now going to also, we're rewriting it as we speak. It's very common in Bangkok where they have two rental contracts. One rental contract for the property, one rental contract for the furnishings, the pool maintenance, the garden maintenance. So let's say, the rental is 60,000 baht, for a 4-bedroom house. It's like 30,000 baht is the rental for the property, and then 30,000 baht is the rental for the furnishings, the pool, the gardens.
Falls under the bracket.
Yeah. It's not uncommon. It's 100% legal. It's done in Bangkok more often than you believe. So again, potentially, us ourselves, Pattaya, we're gonna maybe move into 2026 with a more modern style of rental.
I think what's interesting is if you look at the last sort of like decade, really, there's a lot of things have changed so drastically. And I think, people are complaining about things and, it's more expensive here now. It's not expensive still. I mean, you're talking 5%, 10%. I mean, go back to the UK. I mean, it was 22% corporation tax, stuff like that. I mean, when you're looking at the cost of living out here, it's still incredibly cheap. It's still very, very good. You can come out here and live comfortably on probably half of what you're spending back in the UK.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe we've had the good times, but I'm not sitting here as a wealthy guy. I'm really not. If I was a flipping sitting here, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you, Joe. Like, Gary, I've got better things to do. I'll be on the golf course.
He's busy buying houses. Well, I know what you're doing.
But what was my point? Is like, again, people can sort of take things or be misled. This isn't, again, a target on foreigners. This is Thai owners and Thai landlords as well as foreigners. It's actually, like I say, that it's rental income, regardless of who the owner is. There is documentation that's going to be needed, whether it's now, whether, other agents can get things through and do whatever. That's completely understandable. And again, that's Thailand. That's the point of the conversation here. If you're unsure, come and talk to us.
Yeah,
it's simple. I mean, we don't know everything. We're learning as we go, just like every other person here.
Is it in place right now, though? It's not.
I'd go more to Mark regarding this because, I mean, it is visas. That is Mark, so I'm not going to tread on his toes with the information of that. However, the flip side and the reactivity that we're doing is making sure that we can support this scenario by having, security clauses in the rental contracts to say that if the landlord can't provide all this documentation for the tenant, then it allows the tenant to vacate the property without penalty, creating dual contracts so we can value the house and the furnishings at separate values, again, to reduce the taxation costs. Our guinea pig first rental that has come from Mark, so thank you very much for the clients. They obviously need visas. We found them a lovely house. That house is under Thai company ownership. Okay, so we've had a long conversation and that owner has gone back and forth to Magna Carta. I've been following all of that conversation and he is making changes to his Thai company setup to pretty much, in my opinion, move forward from now to the future where, again, Thai companies are coming under the microscope. There's a lot of activity around Samui, Koh Phangan and places where they're looking at this Thai nominee structure. And certainly, reading what Magna Carta have proposed to the owner for relatively not that much money compared to the rental figures, that could cause him to not be able to rent the property, and look to sell it or whatever, I think are very fair. And, I still need one more conversation to Magna Carta just to say that, if all this gets put in place, are we 100% out of that spotlight and, legal moving forward?
Well, there you go, guys. I think that's the way forward. If you are looking at a long-term stay out here in Thailand, you're looking at 6 months, 12 months, maybe you want to live out here for good, then, I think when you are considering it, like Martin said, speak to Mark first. He'll give you all the guidance. Then if you haven't found a property already, come and see Martin, because these things, everyone laughs and jokes about time. Say, they put these in place, and like you said, it gets washed out of the way. And yeah, it does to a great degree. But
it's frustrating.
It's frustrating, and also you never know. You might be that one unlucky person where you get the knock on the door, and it's like, show me your tax. And you think, oh God, me really? Out of all the millions of people, it was my day. But it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt to be pre-prepared just in case something like this does come on. But guys, don't panic. Like with the drinking laws and all these things that, people were up in arms. Oh my God, what's going on? Don't panic. Just chill out, guys. Get in touch with Mark. Get in touch with Martin. Have a chat with these guys and they can help you and guide you and, ease your worries.
It's like, again, don't take it negatively. Most other countries have got rules and regulations in place.
God, when I was in England, you said pay me 5% tax a week.
Oh, yeah. God. Thailand's sort of been a bit wavy and, obviously there's a charm to that. But then, again, like the visa on arrival is like hot topics. There's only 2 under a calendar year, and how devastating that is. But when I was coming to Thailand, I always applied and sent my passport to Hull to get a tourist visa.
Yeah.
I never travelled in one of the free visa on arrivals. And again, that's the point, is Thailand isn't saying that you can't come in 3 trips in a year. All they're saying is you can't just jump on the plane and do it. Apply for a visa in your home country and then come in on that.
Well, a lot.
In actual fact, you can jump, you can extend on that. And so it's just, they're just.
Well, I think they're just tightened up on the border and other stuff like that. But, that's Mark's border. We'll let Mark worry about that.
I know, but it's just the way that you perceive things, to say, to flip it negatively.
Well, I tell you what, guys, I've been lucky over my life. I've been to many, many countries. If there's any place I'd rather to be, there ain't aim, it's here. I love Thailand. Thailand's brilliant. So very, very brief, we've got a few more minutes left. In terms of other things that people could be aware about property, what kind of things may be there that could catch them out?
I suppose the highlight for this video and for this seasonal period is to just say, and it's not from us, but obviously it affects the property market and the reputation of agencies here, is, guys, just be aware of these rental scams that are going on at the minute.
Yeah.
I do get multiple, I'd say between 5 and 10 emails or lines or WhatsApps a day saying, I'm coming, in a week's time, and I'm staying until like the 12th of January. What have you got? For us and for most of the main real estate agents, we don't have anything.
Yeah.
We don't provide even a 1 month under the law. We don't do monthly rentals. Our minimum monthly rental is 6 months.
Yeah.
The majority of owners now are accepting 12-month contracts. So even though, yes, we would offer you a contract for 6 months, we have to speak to the landlord to make sure they're okay with the 6 month. And again, believe it or not, properties are best properties. I'm not saying all properties, but the really, the good properties that people do want to live in, and the locations that they want to live in, they're all rented.
Yeah.
So the danger is now, I believe that, potentially people inquire with ourselves, with other agencies, and like, no, we don't have anything. No, we don't have anything. Hopefully I'm explaining that we don't have it because we don't want to be tarred with that same brush.
Yeah.
When you step into that monthly rental world, there are people there pretty unscrupulous.
Yeah.
The administration's terrible. The customer relationships, you don't win that. They're monthly.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen multiple Facebooks in the last 2 weeks. So again, I created an article that you can read. Please read it. If it sounds too good to be true, it ain't true. But there's people saying, can anyone recognize this photo from Facebook? I sent them 20,000 baht. Oh, no, Centaur and Hondo. I'm here now and I can't get in touch with her. Just be aware. And again, please read the article, not from my clicks and anything else, but again, I'll try and summarize it. I'll try not to talk too much. If you're going to be looking at a 1 month rental or a 6 week rental or whatever, make sure you're in contact with that person. Yeah, video call that person. Make sure that they're real, okay? And then have the opportunity by video call for them to take you through the property. Get a property tour, okay? Once you've done that, then, make sure that, they have some backing with the bank account that you're going to be sending to. Don't send it to just, miss a super nutch or whatever it is, like which company are you working for, where are their company bank accounts, have some kind of traceability to all this. And if they can't provide it, walk away.
Yeah.
Get a hotel, guys, or look at Airbnb.
Yeah.
Look at booking.com. Again, they have bookings for private owners with a minimum of 1 month rental. Of course, between now and the end of January, don't be surprised that either they're 2,000 baht a night, or they're fully booked.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, like above the Buzzing Lounge, we got our rooms, got 11 rooms. We're fully booked now until probably the second week of Feb. Yeah, we're just absolutely rammed. So, but listen to what Martin says about that. If you are coming out here, there are social medias out there which, at the end of the day, you don't know who you're dealing with. It's just a case of, oh, yeah, such and such has shown me these pictures. Yeah, I can rent it. Okay, here's some money. And honestly, guys, please, like what Martin says, is really, really valuable. just be very, very compass mentis to what's going on. Make sure that you've got traceability, make sure you've got contact, because as Martin said, sadly, and it does happen, not just here, around the world. So don't target here, but sadly, it does happen where people will perceive to have a property, you send them all the money, everything, and it's like, that's the La Vista, baby, we're gone. Right, well, there we go, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's video. Like I say, if you are going to come out here, you're looking at long-term rentals or even moving out here long-term, get in touch with Martin and his team. All jokes aside, they don't get these kind of awards, but being a Mickey Mouse outfit, they're a very good outfit. Martin's been in a long time, a lot longer than me. So, guys, come out here, have a chat with Martin and his team, and you're in good hands. I can assure you of that. Right, thank you very much, Martin. Thank you very much. All right, guys, there we go. That's it today for today's video. If you'd like to get in touch, I'll put all the details down in the description below, all the links, etc. So have a look in the description, and it's all there for you. All right, thank you very much for watching. As always, please remember, hit the subscribe button and also the bell icon if you'd like to be notified when I bring out a new video. Jump into Discord. There's over 23,000 members. It's totally free of charge. Martin has a dedicated page in there. So if you go to the property, you can get in touch with Martin that way if you want to, if you're already on Discord. So have a look at that, guys. Instagram and TikTok is about daytime and nighttime. So just check out Buzzer Pattaya and have a look at that. And also a newsletter. We have our monthly newsletter. There's over 11,000 people on there now. If you'd like to receive it, it goes out at the end of every single month. Just send me an email, newsletter at the top. Don't say, hi, Trev, how you doing? It doesn't get picked up. AI will pick it up and put it into our newsletter folder, and you'll receive that at the end of every month. All right, that's it from me, guys. Thank you very much for watching. And please, as always, wherever in the world you are, stay safe.